What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank Be Chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. So what we gonna be doing on this cut is we gonna be trimming a little bit off the top, and then we gonna be giving a mid to high bald fade. Let's go. So first thing is first, guys, as y'all can see, I'm saturating the top of his hair, basically just prepping it, getting ready to start my shear work. So since my client does comb his hair forward, I'm starting off with on the back of his head, and as you can see, I combed up my section and I took off about 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm just using each guideline, each little section that I'm coming up, I'm slightly moving forward. That way it has a little bit of the previous hair that I cut off. That way I can see what needs to be taken off. And then now that I'm working my way back, I'm coming the opposite way. I hope you understand what I'm saying, but I'm coming the opposite way, and I'm using some of that initial guideline in each section that I'm combing up. And I know y'all, the angle ain't that good here, but y'all can see it better now that I'm doing this side of the head. So remember, guys, each section has a little bit of the initial guideline that I created. That way I know how much hair to take off. Now all I'm doing is cross-checking my work, making sure it's all even on top, making sure there's no peaks and valleys, and there's no, there's no uneven parts on the top of his hair. So now what I'm doing is I'm coming in with my liners, and since we are doing a mid to high fade, I'm coming up right about where that C cup and that vertical bar meet. I am leaving a little bit of hair right there in the C cup, just so when we curve it, you can actually see that line. And y'all know how I do, guys. Towards the back of this line, we're gonna drop it down slightly, and then we're gonna start on the opposite side and basically just match these two lines together. So now that is done, I'm coming in with my shaver, and I'm coming up right below what I just did. I'm trying not to come all the way up to that initial bald guideline, because if you do that with the shaver, guys, you're gonna create too harsh of a line, and it's gonna be really difficult, and it's just gonna be harder to take that line out. So my advice is always come right below that, and the closer you get to that line, make sure you're relieving pressure and flicking out. So I'm using my number 4 guard on my clippers, and all I'm doing is basically just debulking the sides. I'm coming up right above that parietal ridge, and I am flicking out using that number 4 guard. That way I can debulk this area and just have like a level playing field before I actually start doing some fade work. However, I am gonna fade down slightly because, as you can see, guys, well, I don't know if y'all can really tell, but he has, he doesn't have a lot of room to work with. So I don't want to take this fade too high and make this fade look too round. I still want to give him a nice squared shape. So I'm doing some fade down technique. So I started with that number 4. Now I'm coming in with my number 3. I'm starting off with that lever open, coming up right below what I did with that 4, and then I close the lever, coming up right below what I did with my 3 open. And I'm doing the same thing here, guys. It's just my number 2 guard, lever open, so it's making this a 2.5, coming right below what I did with my number 3 guard. And then I'm gonna close my lever and come right below that. I know y'all like, man, how you gonna keep coming right below? But when you do it, you kind of understand a little better. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm just making sure I'm not coming as high as I did with that number 3 guard, and yeah, etc., etc. Alright, so now I'm coming up and I'm setting in my next guideline. I'm coming in with my lever all the way open, which is making this, a half. and I'm coming up about 3/4 of an inch. Normally I come up a little higher, but like I said, guys, since we don't have too much room to work with, I'm only coming up about 3/4 of an inch, maybe even half an inch. And I am using a slight flick out motion, and y'all know how I do it, guys. When I set in my next guideline, I like to fade that section down. So I'm gonna be adjusting my lever closed. So what I'm gonna do is my lever is fully open right now, and the next step is my lever halfway open, coming up halfway into this section, and then I'm gonna adjust my lever closed little by little to try to get rid of the bottom of that line.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
So my clippers are, they're pretty close to being 100% zero gap. They're not all the way zero gap. They do still got a little bit of room there, but for the most part, this is going to get rid of that bottom line. But if it doesn't, that's fine. We can always come back in with the trimmer if needed. And I actually do have a set of clippers that are zero gap more than this. So if I needed to, I can actually use those clippers to get out that bottom line. And as you can see, guys, I'm keeping that brush or a comb in my hand. That way I can brush or comb away all this excess debris. When you're cutting this hair, it starts falling off, sticking to the scalp. So you want to make sure you can either brush that away or comb it away. So this is my number 1 guard. My lever is all the way open. I'm coming up another section. So it's basically the same thing, guys. We're gonna come up about half an inch to 3/4 of an inch, setting in this next guideline, still following the shape that I created with that with my bald guideline. And then like I said, guys, I like to fade down. But yeah, so this is my 1 open, which is making this a 1.5, and this is my next, basically my next section. So now what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm taking my 0 guard or my 1/16 guard. My lever is all the way open, so this is making this a 1, and I'm just coming up right below what I did with my lever with my 1 all the way open, which was a 1.5. So this is now a 1 coming up right below what I did with that 1.5, and then I'm gonna adjust that lever closed and come down a little more each time to try to get rid of the bottom of that line. So as you can see, I just adjusted my lever closed, attacking that line a little more, and then I'm gonna close my lever all the way and try to get out that bottom line. And if it doesn't, I can always come back and refine it and detail it if needed. But we're just gonna see how it looks and see what's needed after we do this step. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, guys, I try to do something a little different. That's why I'm like kind of with my words are kind of all over the place. Normally I do my 1 open and then close, and then I switch down to my 1/16, but I started with my 1 open and then I jumped to my 1/16 on my 0 guard with the lever open. But anyways, here I am going in with my number 3 guard. I'm pretty sure my lever is open. Yeah, it was open. And what I was doing was basically debulking some more of this area, trying to get rid of this line. And then I closed my lever, coming up right below what I did with that number 3 open.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
And I'm just debulking this area, and I'm gonna come back in with my number 2 guard, lever open, still attacking this line that you see here. And if this doesn't get that line completely out, I'm gonna close my lever, and if that still doesn't get that line out, I'm gonna have to come back in with my 1 with the lever open, which makes it a 1.5. So that is one thing I would have to say is pretty difficult with this actual clipper with this mod on it. Using this and this blade with these purple guards is, the length between the 1 open and the 2, it isn't like precise. Like it doesn't fade in perfectly together. So I do have to use a lot of corner blending, have to use a lot of flicking, but that's totally fine. We still get the job done. So it is what it is, man. I still got to do what I do to make sure these haircuts come out good. So this is my number 1 guard, and as you can see there, I'm just using some corner blending, doing a lot of flicking, trying to get rid of that line. Just trying to make sure I get this haircut looking right. So I don't know if y'all can see it or not, guys, but he does have hair like going like different directions. And the reason for that is, you know, my client right here, he's a drummer. He had a gig the night before this haircut, and he showed up, you know, he showed up on time, but he had told me he had just woke up. He had a long night, so I'm sure he woke up and was like, oh snap, I gotta go get my haircut. So he jumped in the whip and he came to the shop, so he didn't have time to like wash his hair and comb it down. So he does have a little bit of bedhead, but we're trying not to take too much of that off. I want to make sure, you know, the fade is still good, but I want to make sure it's not too short in that area. So here I am coming in with my liners. These are the Gamma Evos, and I started off setting my first initial guideline in the middle of his head. And as you can see now, guys, oh, I'm lying, my bad, I'm over here lying to y'all. These are not the Evos, these are actually the absolute hitters. But I started off my guideline in the middle of his head, and I just moved my way over. And as you can see now, I'm just attacking that vertical bar, and then I'm gonna touch that C cup. So now that my lineup is in, I can see more of basically how this fade looks, what needs to be detailed, what needs to be fixed a little more, where I need to come in with certain guards. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just refining this cut, using the corner blending, you know, using some lever play, using all these techniques just to make this fade look even blurrier. Is it blurrier or even more blurry? I don't know, y'all let me know down in the comments. So remember guys, when you're detailing, you can use any guard that you need to use. You can retrace your steps, you can jump around. Just, you know, just play with that lever. There's different techniques that you can do, you know, corner blending, all that, just to make sure this fade looks good. So I'm just doing basically a little bit of everything. I'm switching guards, I'm corner blending, I'm doing flick out motion, you know, I'm doing all this just to make sure this fade comes together.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
And I don't know about what y'all think about this cut so far, but I think it's coming out blurry. I think we're gonna give him a good cut, but yeah, let's keep working. So now I'm using my blending shears, and I'm just, as you can see, I'm using the side of my comb where the teeth are closer together, and that just helps me, you know, be a little more precise with what I'm doing here. And as you can see, I'm not taking off any length. I'm just actually just barely tapping at the ends of his hair, and that is not taking off any bulk, but basically it's just blending this in, thinning it out slightly. That way this fade looks better. And I really like using my blending shears on longer hair, guys. I feel like it gives it a good look without taking off too much length. You know, a lot of people always ask me how come I don't do a lot of clipper over comb work. And I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all guys. Like, my clipper over comb ain't the best. I just, for me, using them blending shears, you know, the shear over comb works better for me. So I like to use them blending shears. I can't even speak right now. My bad. But them blending shears work really good for me, guys. That technique really works. So that's what I like to do to make my fades come together. And once again, I'm going in now and just detailing some more of that cut. And then I'm going back in with them blending shears, taking care of some more of this bulk. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So as y'all can see, I did speed up this side of the haircut. However, we are doing the same exact steps we did on the other side. I started with that number 4 guard just to debulk all this area. Now I'm coming in with my number 3 guard, lever open. Gonna adjust that close, and then come behind that with that number 2 guard, and then I'm gonna fade up. So if y'all liking any of these tools y'all see me using, I am using them, but Stylecraft and Gamma tools, y'all can actually head over to their website and see what y'all want, pick out what y'all want. And when y'all checking out, make sure to use my code TANK10, and you will save yourself a little bit of money, so make sure y'all do that. Also, make sure to follow your boy on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @tank_b_chopping. Shout out to my boy Tito Beats. He's the one supplying me with all these beats that y'all hearing right now. Make sure to give him a follow on Instagram and on YouTube. I believe it's @Tito_Beats on Instagram, and then YouTube is just Tito Beats. Y'all give him a follow and subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
Alright guys, so as y'all can see, this side of the haircut is coming together. We're almost done with this side. Like I said guys, I think this haircut's it's looking blurry. We still got some more detail work to do. We still got to line them up in the front. We still got to do the back. But like I said guys, it's coming out good. I really hope y'all appreciating this content. Like I'm always trying to put out different type of haircuts. I don't want to put out the same haircuts every time. So I'm always trying to find different clients that allow me to record their haircuts. That way I can put out different content for y'all. Like, I have a bunch of clients that come to me on, just throughout the week. And I put out, I try to put out content every week for y'all. But like I said, I try to put out different content, and it's kind of hard because a lot of my clients that have different hairstyles and different hair textures and different haircuts come on the weekend or my busier days. So it's hard for me to record on those days, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, when I do record haircuts, it takes me a little longer than normal. And there's one thing that I hate, and it's like I really hate it. I hate running behind. Like when I'm behind on my clients, it starts to stress me out. It's super stressful, and I don't like doing that. So if I have clients booked up, back to back to back, I don't like to record videos. But when I have time, I like to record these videos. But if I'm super booked, I can't do it. But I'm trying to work stuff around, that way I keep recording these videos. I do got some more videos in the vault just sitting there. I got to get to editing those, that way I have different content for y'all. And then I will be doing a review for my my Uno and then the Gamma shaver. If y'all have any other ideas of type of videos y'all want to see me doing, make sure to leave those ideas in the comments, guys. I'm always trying to bring y'all new content and just content that I think y'all like. So if y'all have any ideas, make sure to leave that down in the comment section. Also guys, if you haven't done so, please make sure to smash that like button. And yeah guys, let's get back to this cut. So the back of these haircuts is always the hardest part to do. For whatever reason, the back always tends to be slightly thicker. Since I did drop it down on the back, I have to make sure both sides connect together. So like I said, the back is slightly harder, but we still gonna make it do what it do, and we gonna make this haircut come out good. So I'm doing the same steps that I did on both sides of this cut. I started with my lever open, created my next guideline, and I'm fading that section out. And then after this, I'm coming in with my number 1 guard. So here is my 0 guard or my 1/16 guard. As you can see, I started with my lever open, and then I just adjusted that lever closed, trying to get rid of that bottom line. And as you can see, it's coming out. I'm still gonna need to detail it, but this is basically getting that line out, and that's what we're trying to do. Here is my number 4 guard, just debulking this area. I didn't do this when I decided, when I started doing the back of the haircut. Normally I debulk first, but for whatever reason I didn't. But you can jump around a little bit when you know what you're doing, when you're more familiar with your steps. It's a little easier to jump around when you're just, when you're a little more familiar with what you're doing. So the previous guard before this was my number 3. I started with my lever open, then I closed it, and this is my number 2 guard. Same thing, started with my lever open, and then I adjusted that lever closed to get rid of them dark areas. Now I'm coming back in with my number 1 guard, lever open, and I'm gonna be doing some lever play, adjusting that open and close just to get rid of these dark spots. And now this is my 1/16 or my 0 guard, whatever you decide to call it. That's up to you. And I'm just adjusting my lever closed, getting rid of these dark areas. Now I'm coming in with my lever open, adjusting my lever close as needed to get rid of these dark spots. Now I'm coming in with my trimmer, getting rid of that bottom line. Alright guys, so now we're doing that razor work, and all we're doing here is going over everything we did with that trimmer, everything we lined up. We're making sure it's nice and sharp with that razor. Remember guys, I always say this on all my videos, you want to make sure you stretch that skin tight. That way it lessens the chance of you nicking your client. Now I'm going back in with some enhancements. We're just gonna darken up that vertical bar and that C cup just to make this haircut pop a little more.
Another one?
Alright guys, so this is how my boy came into the shop looking. After a long night, he was like, man, I need to get this haircut done. I came in, I said, you know what, dog, I got you. This is the after cut. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut down in the comment section. If y'all like this haircut, make sure to like the video. Make sure to comment what y'all think about it, guys. And I appreciate y'all, YouTube. Until next time, let's go.